record? Does that mean we're recording? I'm guessing so.
Yes.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Today's class, if you missed it, if you weren't here because of the old mask mandate, that's okay. We're learning how to draw a body, a person from their head to their toes. Because like most things in art, we have the landscape, very popular subject, and then people, be it yourself as a self-portrait, or you're drawing somebody else, or you're trying to tell a story using different characters. You want to put someone in your painting and have them as a correct proportion within that painting. And like we were learning with two-point perspective, where we used the rule of a point over here and a point over here, and everything in that drawing went to either here or here. Remember that? We had another box here. Now, all we're doing here are using tricks of the trade, little rules that only artists know about, and we're creating the illusion that something looks realistic. Okay, so there are tricks that artists use to create the illusion of making a person in proportion. And that trick, I'm going to tell you, all right, they're going to throw me out of the round circle, the round table, the magician's secret club for telling you all of these tricks. We start with the top of the head and the bottom of the head, the bottom of the ankles here. And we divide this into 8 sections, okay? So I would eyeball this. There's the top, there's the bottom. Now, as someone who's had a bit of practice before, I would simply divide that roughly in half. I think that's in half. How am I doing? Does that look like it's in half? I think so. And then I divide it into quarters. So I'm taking the top half and dividing that in half, the bottom half, dividing that in half. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, but I want that in 8 sections. So again, roughly about halfway through each one. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now that's just a little bit. So I'm going to move that up just there. So the top here is the head, and then I can work my way down. So I'm going to actually grab a clean sheet of paper, okay? And this is where I want you guys at home to join along. So what I have here is a simple 8x10 sheet of paper. Nothing fancy. It's the regular size piece of paper that you get in the art classroom here. And there's landscape, which is flat like that. And then there's portrait. And it's easy if you do it in portrait, just for today's lesson. And I would grab a ruler. So if you want to pause the video and then go get a ruler, that's awesome. And of course, a pencil. Now today, what have I got? I've got 3B. But really, an HB pencil is just fine for this. You don't need anything really too fancy because we're just learning about proportion. I'm not going to expect you to put too much detail in yet. So the nice thing about having a ruler is if you have a look on one side, there's centimeters, and then on the other side, I've got inches, okay? So I want to divide something into 8, so I'm actually just going to use the inches on here. I'm going to start at where it says 0 up the top and draw a line straight up and down the middle until it gets to 8. So that's 8 inches. And I'm going to mark from 0 to 1 there, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. So do you see that? There's a line with 8 little divisions, okay? So next, I'm going to turn the ruler to the side, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to line up with one of the inches. Can you see that there? So there's the bottom, and I'm going to go 1 inch to the left, make a mark. 1 inch to the right, make a mark. I'm going to do the same up the top. You see what I'm doing? So line it up. There's one marker. I'm going to go 1 inch to the right, 1 inch to the left. Why not just line these up and put a little box in and start, again using my ruler, start making a grid. I've got all these little measurements to go. So let's start from the top again and work our way down. There's the first 2 boxes. The second row of boxes. The third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. 7 and 8. So let's check. I'm going to number them just so we're all clear. You might want to number it at home actually, and that'll make life a lot easier when we are going through these, because we're going to go 1 box at a time from number 1 all the way through to number 8 there at the bottom. All right. All right, fab. Okay, so what have we got? We've got to fill in the top bit. The top bit is going to be the head. And like most heads, they're not round. They're kind of like oval, okay? So think about it as an upside-down egg. There's an oval, like a head-shaped oval. Okay, so something like that. But it's going to fit in the first box, right in the middle, okay? This height, just so you know at home, this height to the left and the right there is the same as this. So it's a perfect square. And that's the golden rule, okay? So 2 heads across, like that. All right, there's the head. So what comes next? Well, the neck comes next, all right? And how do I get the measurement in here? I know it's not that long. That's a giraffe, and we're not drawing giraffes, we're drawing people. So with this box number 2, I'm dividing box number 2 into thirds. So there's a third, and there's a third. Roughly eyeball it. All these should be about equal, okay? So there's a third there, all right? So most people's necks are slightly narrower than your head. Unless, of course, you're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and then your neck's this big, but most of us aren't like that. So there is the neck. Next come the shoulders. Head, neck, shoulders. And this line right here that we've already drawn is where the shoulders are. But I'm not going to draw it all the way to the edge. Can you see I left a little gap there? And that is for the shoulder joint, okay? Can you see how my shoulders are slightly round here? They're not square-shaped. This isn't 1982 where everyone wears shoulder pads. So I'm going to put in a ball shape on either side to indicate that that's my nice round shoulder here, okay? So far we've got head, we've got the neck, we've got the shoulders, and the shoulder joint. All right, so the beauty of this exercise is that we have all sorts of different markers on our body that line up with these boxes. So our next box that we've got is the bottom of number 2. All right, and can you guess what I'm drawing here? And one on that side and one on the other. So if I stand back a bit, will you fit me in the camera? Oh, yes, I just about fit. So about here, I've got, most people, you've got your nipples right here, and that's the bottom of box number 2. So I've put that in. And then I'm going to carry on standing up because I'm not going to draw anything just for the moment. I want you, though, to have a look at that circle that I've just drawn in. Can you guess what that is? Well, magically, that is right here. It's my belly button, okay? So bottom of box number 2 is here. Bottom of box number 3 is here. And bottom of box number 4 is your groin. So that's where your legs meet your body, all right? So it's actually from bottom of box number 4 that I want you to work on. So have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is exactly in the middle of our drawing. We've got 4 down and 4 up. And from this middle point, where the groin is, I'm going to go from the inside of the shoulder all the way down. Now, if you want to grab your ruler, you can. If you're confident enough to do this by hand, go for it. So I'll do one side by hand and one side by ruler, just to show how easy it is doing either. So again, head, neck, about a third of the way down of the box. Got 2 shoulder joints here. Got your nipples here. Your belly button there. That's the crotch. So if you have a look at your own body, again, you'll notice, and I'm going to stand up for this, is that, oh, I've eaten too many hamburgers for breakfast. But normally, if this is where my legs meet my body, the top of my hips is here, okay? It's somewhere between my belly button and the center of my body, which is where my legs meet my torso there. So, how do I find that on this drawing? Well, just like we divided number 2 into thirds, I'm going to divide box number 4 into thirds. So 1, 2, and 3, roughly equal sections. I can fiddle around with it. There we go. That's about 3 equal sections, wouldn't you say? And if you have a look here, coming down, from about this point, just like with the shoulders, I'm going to draw a line across here. And now the triangle goes up here. All right. And again, if you want to use a ruler, I'm going to do that because I made a bit of a wobbly line. So there goes that. All right, so the tops of these triangles are my hips, and the bottom of the other triangle is in the center here of the groin area. Next, we're working our way down the body. We're going to leave the hands and arms until later. I will come back to that later. But next, we're going to go down to the knees, all right? So I'm going to ignore this, because we don't have knees all the way up here, do we, guys? No, they're actually smack bang in the middle at the bottom of box number 6. So there we go. There's some kneecaps for you. They look like kneecaps. They kind of do to me. Now, my wife says I've got chicken legs. Now, what that means is they are round, and they're bigger at the top than they are at the bottom. So, going from the top of the hip, there's that triangle that we just did there, I am going to meet up using a parabola, that's simply a fancy name for a curved line, and go from the hips down to the knees, which are again at the bottom of box number 6. So we're halfway there, guys. In fact, all I've got to do now to start finishing this off is decide where I'm going to put the ankles. And the ankles go at box number 8. There's nothing much in between here other than joining those legs. Now these are slightly straighter, because again I've got chicken legs, and you know what chicken legs look like, round at the top, straighter at the bottom. And then I can put the feet in however you like, just basic squares if you want. But there we go, I've got my feet and my ankles, I've got my knees, I've got the groin, I've got my hips, there's my belly button, there's my chest area, and we're back up at the shoulder area right here now. So we're going to draw the arms, and this is wonderful because, again, the body matches up perfectly. Have a look. Here are my elbows, so we're going to be drawing from here to here next, okay? And guess where this matches up with the rest of the drawing? Well, I draw a line, and there's my belly button. So my belly button and this bit here, oh, look at that. They match up perfectly, don't they? Yeah? So we're going to use the belly button, which is at the bottom of box number 3, to determine where the elbow is. So let's do that. We're going to put the elbow in just here and just here. 2 elbows, okay? And then I'm going to join up that. There we go. So we got from here to here done. Now we're going to do from the elbow to the wrist. And again, this matches up pretty well with the box grid. So have a look. There's my wrist. I'm going to go on tiptoe a little bit. Go on tiptoe. And they're just below the center of my body. So on here, boxer number 4, have a look just below that line on boxer number 4 is where I put the wrist here. So I'm going to join those lines up like that. Nearly done, guys. And then finally, last but not least, the hands. Again, I'm not really looking for super detail here. We're just trying to learn the proportions. All right, so knowing that the height, no matter what height you pick, you divide it into 8. So half, that's your halfway mark. Here's your quarter. And then you divide each of those into 8s. There's a quarter again. And each one of those 8s is 1 head tall. I can then work my way from top to bottom and get a perfectly proportioned person. Now, of course, once you've done that, you can start adding clothes. We can give her, if it's a lady, we could give her a skirt and start smoothing out those lines. Maybe she's wearing a shirt there. Now, in future classes, we're going to be learning about details of the face. Oh, actually, before we say goodbye, remember, if we know this is the length of the shoulder to elbow, I can take that same length, okay, and I'm going to use centimeters. It is 4.5 centimeters in this case. Now I can use 4.5 centimeters and simply move it out here. There is my elbow. And how long was this? This was about 4. So, come out here. I can use the same proportions that here, because what this will do, this will create an arc, and no matter where in that arc, they should all be the same length. So I can use the same proportions to start moving the person's arms around, because no matter where I swivel, this length from here to here is always going to be the same, just as it is going to remain from here to here, always going to be the same. So I can move that arm out to there. You see, that comes around like that, and so on and so forth. All right, well, that was a quick tutorial, very quick, very short. But if you can practice that at home, just find something, divide it into 8. If you want to use your ruler, go ahead and use your ruler, and then start putting the right body parts in the right place, and voila, you've got a perfectly proportioned person. All right, well, catch you in class hopefully soon. You have a great day. Thanks for staying tuned. Bye-bye.